all don't mind. Alrighty, folks, my name is Dana. Welcome to the Masterclass Immersive Mastering Your Utility. Again, my name is Dana LeBlanc. I'm a Tier 3 seller here in the California area. I've been with Powur for a little over a year, and I'm really excited to provide this training for you all today. One little fun fact about myself, I actually finished at number 8 in the company overall last year. I'm pushing to kind of push that number up a little bit. Hopefully that may happen by July at Powur World. I'm really proud about that, and I'm really excited to see you all's success also for this year. If you don't yet have your Powur Live membership, we encourage you to please go and get signed up for Powur Live. You can find those logins in your Powur back end. There is a plethora of immersive training, more training on how to build your business and how to also be a better sales consultant. Powur.live, check that out. So today we're actually talking about our folks at PG&E, also known as Pacific Gas and Electric. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of the nuances of PG&E. What makes them different? How are they different? And there are some significant differences in PG&E and other utility companies that are in our area. And it's important that you, as a consultant, are educated on those nuances so that you can, in return, educate your customer. We're going to talk about NIM. What is NIM? We'll look at the utility bill. We'll do a deep dive into the utility bill. We'll do a bill comparison of pre and post solar. And then we'll have a time of Q&A. And then there's also a resource page for you to go back and take a look at some of the things that I'm going to talk about today. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So Charles has already alluded to and communicated the importance of getting that bill. I want you to understand something, that the utility bill is your greatest asset and it's also your biggest enemy. Okay, it's your greatest asset and it's your biggest enemy. If you can learn to leverage the utility bill to educate your customer and upset your customer regarding dirty fossil fuel and how it's being produced and how much money they're paying for that fuel, they are going to be upset, and it's going to increase your probability of getting that sale. So again, on the utility bill, it's about pain points, pain points, pain points. You want to kill that bill. Make that the very first thing. That's your starting point when talking with your customers, okay? All righty. So PG&E is actually the nation's second highest utility company. I've been doing solar for almost 12 years, and I've never seen a decrease in in utility cost. It's always increasing. Okay, you know, when we look at the proposal in the portal, we look at the increases and we take into consideration a 4 to 6% national average for increase. So when you're able to move the slider from 0 to 25 years, that is projecting a 4 to 6% rate increase. PG&E, however, in reality, since January has had an 18% rate increase just this year alone. That's important information to share with your customers because it's going to show them that, look, your bills are high now, but they're going to be even higher coming up here in the next few months and years. Okay, so who's leading the charge? SDGE, you already heard Charles talk about that. San Diego Gas and Electric is leading the way in terms of being the highest utility company. You know, PG&E is currently in bankruptcy since January, with tens of thousands of dollars in liabilities that are related to wildfires, failing infrastructure. We're all aware what's taking place in the industry with them. Their infrastructure is over 150 years old, and it's beginning to fail. And it's costing them millions of dollars to retrofit and to bring that infrastructure up to today's standards. Okay, they also had a major gas pipeline explosion back in 2010 that killed 8 people. And unfortunately, the campfires of last year that literally destroyed the entire town of Paradise, and it killed 86 people. You know, that's really unfortunate information. We're all impacted by that information. But again, you want to communicate that to your customer because the utility company is really in an unstable position. Okay. And all those costs is being pushed to the consumer, and the consumer is absorbing those costs. Okay. So let's take a look at NEM. What is NEM? Net Energy Metering. Currently, PG&E is in NEM 2.0. We don't have any information on NEM 3. We do know that it's in talks. However, there are some things happening at the CPUC level that has caused NEM 3 to be put on the back burner indefinitely. Okay. However, you can still use that information to create urgency with your customer. But currently, it's a great program for people. If it does change, your customers that have already gone solar will be grandfathered into that program for 25 years. Okay. So what is NEM? Let's take a look at it. NEM is energy that your customers produce minus energy that they consume equals the net energy, or the leftover amount of energy. Okay. Let's do a deeper dive into that. So PG&E provides a program called Net Energy Metering to the consumer that allows them to export or import power from or to the grid while monitoring and calculating the information for the customer. So kudos to PG&E for that. Please help your customer to understand that they will continue to receive a bill, just like they've been receiving right now. And on that bill is going to be lined item of their electric charges, the power they consumed, and the power that they produced is going to be listed on that bill. So that's a great thing for the customer. Here's an example of net energy metering. Let's assume the customer uses 25 kilowatt hours at a rate of $1 per kilowatt hour, and the minimum charge, or the electric charge, is $10.95. Well, here's the result of that. The monthly bill will consist of the minimum electric charge of $10.95. However, the $25 electric charge will be held in suspense until the true up period. What is the true up period? The true up period is a fiscal year for the customer. So let's say they were PTO'd in May of this year. The end of their true up period would be May of 2023. Okay, it's always a fiscal year for the customer. All righty. So let's do a deep dive into the utility bill. As you can see here, I got my little friend Frankie up in the left-hand corner. Frankie is very confused. He represents the consumer. And most of your customers, I'd say 99.9% of customers, are really confused about what's happening on that bill. And you want to help educate them so they can have a better understanding of how they're currently buying power and what they're paying for it. Okay, so here's some things that you want to pay attention to. So on the first page of the bill, as you can see, PG&E lists the current electric charges. In this instance, this is a real customer of mine. They were paying $597.81 in this particular month. Now, PG&E does list their historical usage, but they do it in terms of dollars, okay? So it's important that you have a full copy of the bill so you know the averages that the customer is using, and you want to leverage that information when you're building your proposal. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so on page 2, as you can see here, the customer paid $597.81. In the top right-hand corner, that's highlighted in yellow, they used 1,941 kilowatt hours for the month. If you want to factor in or figure out what the average kilowatt cost is, you take the 597.81 and you divide it by the 1941 kilowatt hours. In this case, they're paying an average of 30 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay. If for some reason you know what they're paying for the kilowatt hour, you do the reverse math and you multiply that by 1,941 to give you a total of $597. Okay. Awesome. All righty. Another important thing that you want to pay attention to is the rate schedule. Okay. There's a lot of different rate schedules out there. I will say on the proposal, when in the drop down in the hamburger, you want to make sure that the rate schedule is reflective in the proposal with the same rate schedule as it is on the utility bill. Okay, that's very, very important. I will say in an E1, which is a very typical rate schedule, utilizing the south mounting plane. East is also great and west is also great. However, most customers are being transitioned to a TOA usage, time of use. What does that mean? Time of usage is peak hours and off-peak hours. So between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m., your customer is paying maximum dollars for that power. Off-peak hours is before 4 p.m. and after 9 p.m. So if you see a bill and they have a time of use rate schedule, it's important that you design on the south and the west end of the house to maximize the production on that system, okay? A bit of advice for you. I always try and oversize my systems by 25 to 35%. We want to make sure or get as close to a no true up bill at the end of the year. Okay. So again, going back to our rate schedule, they're on an E1. It's a tiered system. The customer is allotted so many kilowatt hours in that first tier for the basic necessities, lights and things of that nature. When they start adding computers and pools and electronics and all those kinds of things, their consumption goes up and they transition to a higher tier. Okay, awesome. So here is, we have our friend Frankie again in the top left corner. The customer is more educated now, and look at the expression on Frankie's face. He's not liking what he sees. This page is going to be the most powerful weapon in your arsenal. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to forego the definitions that are on the bill, but please take a look at those and read them. However, if you look at your electric charges breakdown, like Charles talked about, it gives you a list of additional fees that your consumer or your customer is paying. Most customers have no idea that this is happening. I highlighted in yellow the generation fee. That is $221. That is the actual amount of energy that your customer consumed, is $221, but the bill was $597. There's things like a conservation incentive that takes care of marketing efforts for them advertising time of use rate plans and to turn off your power. There's a transmission fee, there's distribution fees, there's a PPP fee, which is a program for people who are in care, medical baselines. We're all paying those fees. There's nuclear decommissioning fees. There's tons of fees on your customer's bill that they have no idea that they're paying, and why are they paying those fees, right? So now Frankie is upset. Again, you're creating pain points for your customer that's going to maximize your time with them and help you gain that sale. All right, let's take a look at a utility bill pre and post solar. Again, this is an actual customer of mine. This customer used $597 in this month, but look at their current electric charges after they went solar. They're at $10.95, from $5.97 down to $10.95. Again, this itemized bill is going to show you exactly what they produced and what they consumed. Okay, so here is a snapshot of their total NIM charges for the year so far. They're 5 months into their bill. Their total NIM charges before taxes is minus $664.98. This is huge. This customer is ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. They're providing referrals. She's already referred her son who went solar. She has a second son that we're working on closing his deal right now. It's an all-around great situation for your customer. So look at the year-to-date estimated NIM charges at TrueUp, $0, right? It's a great scenario. All righty. So here is a copy of that same statement, pre and post solar. As you can see here, again, the total electric charges breakdown is listed on the old bill. On the new bill, those fees have been eliminated. They're gone. Okay, this is going to be huge for you. And so again, you want to leverage that information to help gain that sale. All righty. So let's take a look again at a comparison. So this customer was on an E-Ray rate schedule with 2 tiers, paying high cost up to 32 cents. Now it's gone up to 35, 36 cents on tier 2. After solar, they're now on the time of use peak rate plan between 4 and 9. They had one small charge in the beginning of the month of $9.82. But because we oversized their system and they're on a time of use, look at their bill at the end of the month, minus $305. That's a beautiful, beautiful scenario for your customer. They're saving money, they're putting money back into their bank account, and they are super happy. All right, and here is the final page that I want to show you. Again, we have our friend Frankie in the top left-hand corner. He is excited. He's happy because his total NIM charges, again, at the bottom of the page is $0. It gives him a breakdown of every single month that he's exported and imported power to the grid. He's minus $665. On the electric delivery charge, he's minus $283. To answer a question for you, at the end of the true-up period, if your customer would like a check for those credits, PG&E will send them a check for the credit amount. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, I hope that this information was informative, that you learned something today. I can tell you that the recording of this session will be found in Knowledge Base on the Market Spotlight page for our state. Please check that out when you have the opportunity. All right, let's go ahead and open it up for some Q&A. I see that we have some Q&A from Felipe. What can I do for you, my friend?
So, as customers either that has gone solar right now, their grandfather net metering for the next 20 years.
Yes,
that is a contract. So
yes,
in the future, if somebody doesn't size the system properly and decide to add an extra panels, are they now in breach of that contract and now they're going to go from best to worse because during that time?
That is a great question. So if you are adding a secondary system that's going to work in tandem or be connected to that first system, yes, it's going to put them under the new program.
So that is, so even though their grandfather to that contract, but the minute they alter the contract, they're in breach of the original contract. Therefore, they're going to re-enter into a new contract. So it's better for them to understand that so they can take into account any extra panels they may need in the future now, instead of waiting when the need comes.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So again, they're grandfathered into the current program. If they add panels in the future and PG&E has initiated NIM 3.0, yes, the contract will be renegotiated and they will be put into the new program. Great question. Yes. Any other questions? Jeff, what can I do for you, sir?
Hey, Dana, just a quick question. How do we calculate the annual kilowatt hours that homeowner has used so that we can put it into our solar proposal to get the correct information on the proposal?
Absolutely. That's another great question. So there's a couple ways that you can do that, Jeff. Number one is the easiest way. If the customer has a PG&E login, you can have them log in, look at the historical usage, and write those numbers down. A piece of advice for you that I do, I actually have the customer call out those numbers to me. What am I doing? I'm getting them involved. I'm creating more pain points for them. Okay, so that's one way. If they don't have a PG&E login, you can actually call PG&E and get the historical usage from the automated number. That number is going to be on the resource page here in just a moment. There's sometimes some pushback with the customer because you will need the last four of their social. If they don't want to provide that for you, you can always call PG&E and have the customer on the line with you. If you have the utility bill, then you can look at the graph on first page. It's calculated in dollar amounts, okay? And then on the second page, you'll see the total kilowatt usage used for that month. I think in our example, the payment for that month was $597. The kilowatt usage was 1941. If you divide 597 by 1941, it gives you an average of 30 cents per kilowatt hour. Looking at that graph, you can take that 30 cents per kilowatt hour and multiply that by the dollar amount for each month. It will give you the tally.
Seem good?
Yeah, because they know I'm making.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you so much, Dana. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. You're welcome. Any more questions?
Dana, I have a question about the time of use.
Like you're overqualified almost?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, partner. If you are
Okay,
not,
yeah.
go ahead, sir.
My question is, if you have credits, let's say just on a 24-hour schedule, you've got credits for the day, and then you start using in the time of use, are you getting charged at the 1-to-1 rate, what you produced, or are you getting charged time of use rate?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you are getting a charge 1-to-1 ratio right now with PG&E.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was hoping. Thanks.
Yeah. And again, guys, you know what? These questions that you're asking are outstanding questions. And this is the information that you want to communicate to your customer. Okay, because again, you're leveraging this information and you're showing them the benefit of the current program. Okay, so although PG&E has this exuberant amount of cost, there are some benefits for the current program as it is today.
I have another question tied to the original question, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Since we talk on the subject of making sure that we size a system that is not only good for what we consumed last year, but what we're consuming now, but projecting that we're going to continue to evolve and to utilize more energy. What would be the max offset that you've seen approved by PGE, and so people are here can actually feel comfortable and not be afraid of suggesting, or not suggesting, but making sure customers understand whatever you do right now most likely is what you want to keep for the rest of the time during the house. So let's build it properly.
For sure. And that's another great question. And for the sake of time, I'm going to make it a short answer. It's time to go back on the stage. However, so I talked to PG&E personally about this, and right now there is no cap on how much power or glass you can put on the roof. I've sized systems at 155%, at 175%. As long as the transformer in the area can support the system size, you will be good to go. So thank you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you back in the on the stage here in just a moment. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dana.
You're welcome.